Zohran Mamdani, everyone's favorite local socialist. It's great. He's back in the news. He's back with a brand new plan. Really exciting stuff. Check this out from the Post Millennial. Zohran Mamdani backs plan to end enforcement of misdemeanor crimes in New York City. I mean, this is genius, right? How have we not thought of this? There's kind of a crime problem, a new crime wave. Let's just stop enforcing it. I mean, really bold thinking from Zohran here. Let's get into it. Democratic New York City mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani backs the Democratic Socialist of America for America. Sorry, I didn't know it was for America. My fault. Platform that calls for an end to the enforcement of misdemeanor crimes and a dismantling of traditional law enforcement practices. The DSA's national platform, adopted in 2021, labels prisons and police as, quote, instruments of class war, and says that their purpose is to guarantee the domination of the working class. The document, according to the New York Post, urges an end to the criminalization of working class survival. Really great stuff. Really American, right? When you think America, you think American exceptionalism, individualism. You think about whining about the domination of the working class, I guess. Inspiring stuff from the DSA. I'm sure this will go over very well with a national platform. Mamdani, a New York State Assemblyman from Queens and the group's endorsed candidate for mayor, has echoed similar themes during his campaign, calling for police to focus only on serious crimes. He has also raised doubts about the usefulness of prisons and has continued to advocate for rolling back punishment of what he calls, quote, non-violent offenses. This week, he renewed his push to legalize prostitution. You probably saw us cover this on IRL, and it is true. He is starting to ask questions about why are we prosecuting prostitution? It's getting freaky over there in Queens. I don't know what's going on with these guys. The DSA has also endorsed eliminating cash bail, scrapping electronic monitoring, ending pretrial detention, and halting imprisonment for parole violations. I mean, it's like a Batman movie with what they're proposing, which could be interesting. You know, if you are like ready for a purge type event, I don't know, this could be fun with their proposal. This could get interesting. You know, it could get wacky and wild out there. Otherwise, for normal people, this is going to be a nightmare. Mamdani has previously supported the defund the police measures. He's slightly moderated his message since a massacre was committed on Park Avenue, saying he would maintain the NYPD at roughly its current size, but redirect officers away from enforcing minor crimes. This is like, I don't know how many more times we have to demonstrate this, is that you have to have zero tolerance for criminal behavior, because it's when you stop violating the minor crimes, that's when things get out of hand, because it cements this idea in people's head that anything goes, that there is no law and order, there is no structure to society. It's just I can get away with this and I can get away with that, and it just creates this environment, this culture of disorder. Anyway, this is a quote from Rafael Mangal, a legal policy expert at the Manhattan Institute. He says, "I don't buy for a second that he is moderated on any of these policing questions, because he has yet to really articulate in a deep way why he's moderated or how he's moderated. All he has really said is that he no longer wants to defund the police, even though police and prison and jail abolition are core tenets of the DSA party platform." In New York, misdemeanors include offenses such as shoplifting up to $1,000, drug possession, simple assault, and driving while intoxicated. You know, this is, I'm sure many of you guys, your weekend plans. You do a little assault here and there, a little drug possession, shoplift a little bit, it's misdemeanor, it's nothing. It's like a little minor crime. Why are we prosecuting this? It's a big deal, right? Yeah, I mean, this is, Susan Ginsburg, a Greenwich Village resident, really put it perfectly. People will break the law with impunity. There has to be a deterrent for breaking the law. That's absolutely right. That's what's going on here, is when you stop enforcing the little stuff, it's going to get harder to enforce the big stuff, because it allows people to think that they can break the law with impunity, or they will break the law with impunity, evidently, if Zohran gets his way. there's zero reason not to follow the law if it's just like enforced in certain directions. Like that's how you maintain a society. That's how you maintain order. Is you use law. You use law, and you create a system that punishes bad people and rewards good people. And a system like this rewards bad people and punishes good people, because when you go to CVS, you got to like beg, like a dog for a speed stick, or an Old Spice. It shouldn't be like that. I should be able to reach in there and grab it. And then it punishes good people, because not only do you have to, cry and yelp to get an employee to come over and unlock it and give you the deodorant, they'll do the same thing for a homeless guy, and then the guy just leaves with it. So it's like, I don't even know if it really is cutting down on shoplifting. I don't know what's going on. So, it doesn't stop there. Here is a clip. This was actually from Timcast News. We grabbed this from a stream. This is Zohran's plans, him scheming with one of the great thinkers of our generation, Hassan Piker. Let's see what they have to say here.
Fiscally, if we're talking about the fiscal cost, it costs New York City more than $500,000 a year to incarcerate someone on Rikers, and to put someone in a year of supportive housing, it's about $50,000 a year. Right, there is no.
You put him in a penthouse for that kind of price.
That's an incredible amount of money.
I feel like I wouldn't do any crimes if I was in a penthouse.
If you had $500,000, it's a lot of money.
If give me the $500,000, I'm not doing crimes. Why? How about we do that? Give criminals $500,000. Is that a good policy?
I'm going to wait for you to run for mayor to propose that.
Yeah, you do a crime, you're getting $500,000 from me directly.
Okay, well, that's kind of funny, but he's kind of like half joking. I mean, obviously he's probably being facetious with the $500,000, but like the way that their policies break out, it actually ends up in a indirect way. The amount of resources that are allocated to these people are like, they end up in that neighborhood of $500,000. So like he's saying this like it's some sort of ridiculous joke that everyone can laugh at, but it's not really a joke when you really think about what these result in. I mean, just think about like welfare in and of itself, the amount of burden it puts on the taxpayer to support people that otherwise could work in many cases. And now we're going to do that for criminals. I mean, if we're decriminalizing minor crime, minor theft, and then we're decriminalizing stuff like prostitution, the next step, and this is very common for the DSA, is they try to determine, well, what drives crime? Does poverty drive crime? Well, if poverty drives crime, we should just get rid of poverty. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You're just gonna have a bunch of entitled criminals. That's all that this ends up ever resulting in. And the crazy thing is, New York City, we actually know it works. Is because Rudy Giuliani showed you, is you have to be a little mean to criminals. That's all it really is. You just have to be a little mean. And the problem with the United States and the Western world at large in 2025 is people don't want to be mean. They want to be nice. They want to give them a little money, give them a sandwich. You like knock someone over the head in New York City, you're out of jail by the evening because there's no bail, or there's cashless bail, and then you get Mets tickets. That's usually how it goes. Giuliani's in New York, they just like ship you to Rikers right away, and then no one would know where you went. And it was pretty safe. It was a pretty pleasant place. In the Giuliani era, he cleaned up a big mess. And for what it's worth, Bloomberg kind of just continued those policies to a large extent. And it was a fantastic city. It's our largest city. There's this tendency among conservatives to say, well, just screw it. Like, if they want socialism, they should have it. And it's like, I understand the motive, especially if you are someone who, I don't blame you for having resentfulness against New Yorkers in New York City at large because of, the policy and whatnot that, spews out of the city. But, whether you like it or not, it is our largest city. It kind of is a bellwether for the country, because what happens in that city is just going to happen to the rest of the country 10 years later. I mean, every cultural movement, every woke policy was being discussed in a Brooklyn coffee shop 10 years prior. It's just how it goes. So you have to set the tone in New York City, unfortunately. And it's not going to stop there. It's not isolated to New York City. Zohran is just an indication of the type of elected officials you can expect in your town in 10 years if we don't stop and avert course. And even worse than all of this, worse than the fact that he's a socialist and, he's not even American, like worse than all of that is he can't even get a plate up.
That's how you move up in the polls. That's how you move up in the polls. Yeah.
He's dapping people up. He really doesn't want to do this. He's just like on the street and got bullied into this, I think. That's a plate. I mean, come on now. First of all, the street scene looks like a bazaar.
Yeah. Let's go.
And then he can't even get the plate up. Oh my goodness. We really want this in New York City because there's a lot of tourists visiting. Do we want a situation where they know they could beat the mayor up? I mean, really, is that an environment we want? Maybe we should have like bodybuilders only. I don't know. At the very least, you should be able to get a plate up to be mayor of New York City. Craziness. And the street scene was very bizarre and intense. I mean, this shouldn't be this way. There should be some order. And it's like there's just like music blaring, and it's like not even good music. It's like nonsensical people. I mean, it's just like not a stable feeling environment. That's probably why Zohran got bullied onto the bench. It was because it felt unstable and dynamic, and he felt like he couldn't say no. So Zohran, maybe get in the gym. It has been demonstrated empirically that as your testosterone goes up, you become more right wing. That has been empirically proven. And so I don't know, maybe if he keeps this up, if Zohran keeps the lifting up, he could actually just swing over and turn into like Giuliani on steroids. That could be what happens. And that would be really a tremendous, tremendous thing. That being said, I mean, Zohran, I think, is at 80% chance in Poly Market of winning this mayoral race. He was at 50% in these head-to-heads, but he's not at 50% yet. He's not even close, really, in a lot of these recent polling. There's still the potential for a coalition if two of the three, other contenders were to drop out and get behind. It probably needs to be Sliwa and Adams getting behind Cuomo, if we're being honest. But there's certainly a possibility of Zohran still, even though he has the D next to his name, of him not winning this race. Because New York, there's a lot of people in New York, and I mean, although Williamsburg and Bushwick got Zohran across the line in the Democrat primary, the general election's a different animal. It really is. So I mean, look, you're looking here. This is the latest from American polls. We'll look at Siena. This is a pollster I'm familiar with. I mean, they're saying here that Zohran, that there's still a path to victory for another candidate, and Andrew Cuomo's pathway to victory is lying in Curtis Sliwa and Eric Adams and their base, their voters. So, Zohran, he's not quite a done deal, but it's looking that way, and it's really just embarrassing. It's really just embarrassing for a country that our largest city is being ran by someone that can't get a plate up, that's a socialist. He's not even American. He's been a citizen for like 5 minutes. The fact that this can happen shows how much work has to be done, how much damage has been done already. So, yeah, with that, look, I mean, I've said it before, like on IRL and stuff, is like, okay, that's great if you can build a coalition to keep Zohran out. You're still, because this is Cuomo versus Mamdani is just the old New York, the 20th century New York versus the 21st century New York. Like Cuomo is just like an Italian from Queens, whatever. His dad was corrupt, he's corrupt. It's like it's kind of a nice, actually a little refreshing to see some good old fashioned corruption every once in a while. Where Zohran, he's like this socialist guy, like he's ethnically ambiguous, like he's from Africa, but he's not African. Like there's a lot going on, and that's typically what you'll find in New York City a lot, especially with the under 35 crowd. That is what it is. Like, the Sopranos or whatever, that is not representative of the New York City metro area anymore. It is not. It really isn't. There's an entirely new demographic that is rising up, and they're getting older, and you're going to see it more and more. Like what you're seeing now is what the generation that was born 30, 40 years ago. So, and with immigration still wide open, I mean, we saw this from on Friday from the AP. There's 55 million foreigners with visas. New York City is going to look very different. It's already starting to look a little different. It's starting to feel more foreign. It's going to feel very, very foreign in the next decade or two. And Zohran's going to be like the moderate pick if we don't if we don't get our act together on migration and these sorts of things. Sadly, I mean, I don't think you realize the amount of resentfulness that people from elsewhere in this world hold against Americans and Westerners at large. So, like I said, like I was saying, is okay, you could form a coalition to keep Zohran out. Yeah, okay, you could do that. You're going to have the same problem in 4 years, right? Like you're going to have another guy with a, interesting, fun name. And he's going to have the same thing. It'd be DSA guy, crazy policies, and it's going to be the same thing. So it's like, you got to get to the root of the problem. We need to be honest. We need to have some tough conversations. We need to be a little mean, but it has to be done. If you don't like Zohran, you're going to have to go a little further and figure out why people like Zohran exist. So with that, thanks for watching this segment. I've been your host, Tate Brown, at Real Tate Brown on Instagram and X. Go follow me there. We'll be back tonight for Timcast IRL at 8 p.m. It'll be a great show, and we'll have another segment coming up here, I think at 1 o'clock. So be there or be square. Thank you for watching.